Gita's message for today's Arjuna, a divine motivation narrated and published by SweetAudible. Introduction: The Crossroads of Life. Bhagavad Gita is not an ancient scripture to be read and forgotten. It is a living voice, eternal and timeless. It speaks not only to warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but to every young soul facing the battles of modern life. When Arjuna, the mighty warrior, was paralyzed by doubt and despair, Lord Krishna, his divine friend and guide, revealed the secret of life, duty, and devotion. Today, Krishna speaks once again through this Bhagavad Gita to you, the youth of the world. Let us now listen, not as readers of history, but as seekers of truth. Chapter 1: The Dilemma of Modern Arjuna. The battlefield of Kurukshetra lay silent, yet charged with tension. Thousands of soldiers prepared for war, the air heavy with anticipation. Amidst the clashing of war drums and cries of warriors, Arjuna, the mighty Pandava prince, stood on his chariot, his mind clouded with doubt and sorrow. He gazed across the battlefield, seeing his own relatives, teachers, and friends ready to fight. His heart trembled. His bow Gandhiva slipped from his hands. The weight of duty, love, and morality pressed on his soul. Arjuna spoke, trembling. "O Krishna, seeing my own kinsmen arrayed for battle, my limbs fail, my mouth dries, and my mind reels. I cannot find strength to lift this bow. What joy is there in victory if it is soaked in the blood of my own family?" Arjuna's sorrow is not weakness, it is the awakening of conscience. He sees the futility of violence and questions the morality of war. He feels the tension between duty and compassion. Krishna listens with patience and love. Krishna, the charioteer and guide, gently asks, "O Arjuna, why this weakness? Why do you hesitate now when you are the mighty warrior destined to fight for justice?" Arjuna replies, pouring out his heart, "I see only destruction. My own kinsmen lie in the path of death. I feel no joy in triumph if it comes at such cost. How can I raise my bow against my own teachers, elders, and friends?" Here begins the essence of the Gita, the dialogue between despair and divine guidance, confusion and wisdom, mortality and immortality. Arjuna represents every human soul standing at the crossroads of duty and emotion. Krishna responds with gentle clarity, "O Arjuna, the soul is eternal. It neither kills nor can be killed. Death touches only the body, not the immortal essence. Courage is not mere strength of arms. It is the recognition of the eternal self within. Stand, O Arjuna, and fight as a warrior of truth. Duty calls, and the righteous path awaits." This teaching is timeless. Life confronts us with situations that seem impossible. Our hearts tremble. But inner wisdom, courage, and divine guidance illuminate the path. Krishna continues, offering the first lesson. "Do not yield to sorrow. Do not be weak. Rise beyond attachment. Rise beyond fear. Act with discernment anchored in righteousness." Thus begins the Bhagavad Gita, a song of God, a guide for the heart. In despair, Arjuna turns to Krishna, seeking clarity. In our own lives, we too face the battlefield of choices, doubts, and fears. The first step toward liberation is recognizing our despair and seeking the divine guide. Chapter 2: The Eternal Self. Krishna, seeing Arjuna's deep sorrow and confusion, begins to teach the wisdom of the eternal soul, the knowledge that frees the heart from fear and despair. Krishna speaks, Arjuna, why do you mourn for what is not worthy of grief? The soul is eternal, unborn, everlasting, and beyond death. Just as the body wears new garments, the soul discards old bodies and takes on new ones. You grieve for what is temporary, seek what is eternal. Krishna introduces the first fundamental teaching of the Gita, the difference between the body and the soul. The body is perishable, but the soul is immortal. Life, death, and suffering are changes that affect only the physical form, not the divine essence within. Krishna continues, a wise person does not lament for the living or the dead. You are a warrior, Arjuna. Fight for righteousness without attachment, without selfish desire. Your duty is to act, but the soul remains untouched by the outcome. This is a powerful lesson. We are not our failures, our fears, or even our successes. We are souls, eternal and infinite. The challenges of life are like storms, temporary. The soul remains calm, untouched, and free. Krishna explains Sankhya Yoga, the yoga of knowledge. Action is inevitable, Arjuna. Every being must act according to their nature. But one who acts without attachment, offering all actions to me, attains peace and liberation. This is the highest knowledge, understanding the soul, acting in duty, and renouncing attachment to results. Action without attachment does not mean inactivity. It means performing duty with mindfulness, integrity, and devotion. The young can apply this in studies, career, relationships, and life choices. Work diligently, but do not cling to success or failure. Offer all your efforts to the divine, and freedom follows. Krishna now speaks of self-mastery. Endeavor for steadiness, O Arjuna. Control your mind and senses. Calmness is the essence of yoga. When the mind is steady, one can act wisely, with discernment and without sorrow. Yoga is balance, control, and alignment with the higher self. A person of knowledge sees the eternal in all beings, remains undisturbed by success or failure, and lives with courage and clarity. Krishna concludes chapter 2 with encouragement. Rise, Arjuna, stand firm, be courageous. Let not fear or sorrow cloud your heart. Let wisdom guide your action. Chapter 2 of the Gita teaches us the first step towards spiritual liberation. Knowledge of the soul, understanding the impermanence of the body, and acting without attachment. It calls us to rise above despair, anchor in wisdom, and find courage in truth. For every young listener, this chapter is a reminder: no failure, no loss, no fear can touch the eternal soul. Act with purpose, act with devotion, and act without attachment. The divine guides those who seek the path of knowledge. Chapter 3. The Path of Duty. Arjuna, inspired by Krishna's teaching of the soul, still hesitates. He asks, Krishna, if the soul is eternal and unattached, why should I fight? Why not renounce action entirely? Krishna smiles gently, for he knows that true renunciation is not abandonment of duty, but mastery over attachment. Krishna replies, O Arjuna, renunciation does not mean withdrawing from life. It is the abandonment of selfish desire. Action performed without attachment for the good of all is both renunciation and yoga. This is Karma Yoga, the yoga of selfless action. The soul grows not by avoiding work, but by performing it with devotion, offering results to God and freeing oneself from pride, greed, and ego. Krishna explains further, every being is driven by nature. Even if one tries to renounce action, the senses compel activity. Therefore, act, O Arjuna, but act without attachment. Perform your duty and let not desire for reward bind you. This teaching is profoundly practical. We cannot escape life's responsibilities. School, work, relationships, and society demand action. But Krishna teaches a revolutionary principle. Act with detachment, with mindfulness, and offer your deeds to the divine. This transforms every task into spiritual practice. Krishna continues, not by abstaining from action does one attain freedom, but by performing all actions as a service to God. Act for duty, not for fruit. By this, one attains peace and the eternal abode. Imagine a student studying diligently, not for grades or fame, but as an offering to the divine, with focus, sincerity, and dedication. Or a young professional working honestly, not driven by greed, but by duty and service. This is Karma Yoga in action. Krishna emphasizes social responsibility. Action performed for the welfare of others in accordance with dharma sustains the world. The wise see themselves as instruments of God, performing actions for the benefit of all. Karma Yoga is not isolation or escape. It is engagement with life rooted in devotion and righteousness. Action itself becomes meditation, work becomes worship, and life becomes service. Krishna explains the danger of laziness. Those who avoid action out of fear, ignorance, or selfishness fall behind in both worldly and spiritual life. By acting in duty, one purifies the mind and attains the ultimate goal. This is a direct message for the young. Do not be passive. Laziness, procrastination, or avoidance of responsibility binds the soul. Engage in life, serve others, and dedicate your actions to the divine. By doing so, you transform ordinary life into extraordinary spiritual progress. Krishna concludes Chapter 3 with encouragement. Rise, O Arjuna, be steadfast in your duty. Act without attachment, serve without expectation, and live in the spirit of yoga. This is the path to liberation. Chapter 3 teaches the profound secret of Karma Yoga. Life is not a burden to avoid, but a field to act with devotion. Work selflessly without clinging to results, and every action becomes a step toward freedom, peace, and eternal joy. For every young soul, the lesson is clear. Action is inevitable, attachment is optional, devotion is transformative. Chapter 4 The Light of Divine Knowledge. Krishna now unfolds a deeper mystery to Arjuna, the unity of knowledge and action, and the power of divine wisdom. Krishna speaks, O Arjuna, I taught this yoga of action to the sun god Vivasvan. This knowledge has been passed through the ages, but over time it was forgotten. Now I teach it to you anew for the benefit of the sincere seeker. This chapter reveals the eternal cycle of divine knowledge, how wisdom descends when humanity needs guidance. Krishna is not only a teacher to Arjuna, but the eternal guide of all beings. Knowledge is never lost. It is rekindled when the soul is ready. Krishna explains action and renunciation. Some renounce action but live in ignorance. Others perform action with wisdom. The one who acts with knowledge, offering all deeds to me, achieves liberation. Even sacrifice, austerity, and charity, when performed in ignorance, are inferior to selfless action performed with understanding. Here lies a crucial principle. Knowledge without application is incomplete. Study, learning, and spiritual understanding must be integrated into life through action. The young can relate. Reading without practicing, learning without serving, ambition without ethics, these lead nowhere. Wisdom comes alive only in action offered to the divine. Krishna introduces the sacred concept of karma yoga with wisdom. When you act as I instruct, O Arjuna, abandoning attachment to results, you purify your mind. Even small actions, when offered to me, liberate the soul. Act with devotion, not for reward, and you transcend the cycle of birth and death. The heart of chapter 4 is the marriage of knowledge and action. Action without knowledge is mechanical. Knowledge without action is stagnant. Together, they purify the soul and awaken divine consciousness. Krishna emphasizes the role of a teacher. One who teaches this knowledge without envy and with devotion, and one who hears it with faith and humility, attains the highest. The knowledge of the eternal self destroys ignorance and leads to liberation. This is a message for young learners. Respect your teacher, study diligently, listen with humility, and apply what you learn in service and action. Knowledge is powerful only when it transforms character. Krishna explains the power of selfless action. Even a wise person, if they act out of selfish desire, is bound. But he who acts without attachment, offering the fruits to me, attains freedom and immortality. Those who seek liberation through action, devotion, and wisdom are dear to me. Imagine a student offering their study, a professional offering work, a parent offering care, all as devotion to Krishna. Every ordinary act becomes sacred. Every duty becomes a step toward liberation. Krishna's final teaching in chapter 4. Acquire knowledge from the wise, act selflessly, perform duties as offerings to me. With faith, devotion, and wisdom, you transcend the gunas, the modes of nature, and the bondage of birth and death. Chapter 4 reveals the transformative power of combining knowledge and action. Life is not to be abandoned, nor wisdom to remain idle. The young generation must act wisely, serve selflessly, and live devotedly. Knowledge without action is incomplete. Action without devotion is temporary. Together, they lead to eternal freedom. Thus, the yoga of knowledge and renunciation teaches: learn, act, surrender, and live as a child of the divine. Chapter 5. The Path of Renunciation and Detachment. Arjuna, inspired by Krishna's teaching of knowledge and action, asks, O Krishna, which is superior, the path of renunciation, giving up all action, or the path of selfless action? Which truly leads to liberation? Krishna smiles, for he knows both paths converge in devotion and wisdom. Krishna replies, both renunciation and selfless action, when performed with wisdom, lead to liberation. But listen carefully. Selfless action, done without attachment, is higher than mere renunciation of work. Why? Because even a renunciate must live, sustain the body, and act in some way. Action performed with surrender purifies the soul completely. Renunciation is not abandonment. True renunciation is the letting go of selfish desire. Action is inevitable in life, work, duty, relationships. But when action is performed as an offering to God without craving reward, it becomes renunciation in its purest form. Krishna explains the difference. Arjuna, the renunciate, sees himself as the servant of the Supreme. The selfless worker acts as an instrument of God, offering every deed to the divine. Both are free from attachment, but the worker engages with life, benefiting the world, while the renunciate withdraws into contemplation. Both reach liberation, but the path of action benefits both self and society. This is a practical guide for life. Engage in work, study, and responsibilities, but do so selflessly. Serve your parents, teachers, friends, and society without craving recognition. In this way, your actions are purified, your heart grows in devotion, and your soul rises above bondage. Krishna emphasizes balance. Renounce desire, O Arjuna, but not action. Perform duty, not for reward, but as a service to me. A person free from attachment, equanimous in success and failure, attains peace. Such a one is truly a yogi, dear to me, and liberated from all bonds. Equanimity is key. The young generation faces constant pressure, grades, achievements, social comparison. Krishna teaches, focus on effort, not outcome. Perform work with dedication, offer results to God, and remain steady in mind. Success and failure are transient, devotion is eternal. Krishna speaks of the yogi's qualities. The yogi is one who sees all beings equally, treating friends, enemies, and strangers with equal regard. He is free from attachment, fear, and anger. His mind is calm, his heart compassionate, and his senses under control. Such a yogi is ever devoted to me and attains eternal peace. The essence of renunciation is inner freedom. The yogi is not defined by withdrawal from the world, but by freedom from ego, desire, and attachment. One may live amidst family, work, and society, yet remain a renunciate in heart, offering all to God. Krishna concludes chapter 5 with reassurance. Those who follow the path of selfless action with faith, devotion, and wisdom reach me. They are never lost. Renunciation and selfless action converge in the heart of the devoted. Rise, Arjuna, perform your duty with surrender, and you will be free from all bonds. Chapter 5 teaches the profound unity of renunciation and selfless action. Life is not about abandoning responsibilities or escaping the world. Life is about acting wisely, selflessly, and devotedly. The young listener learns, serve, act, surrender, and remain unattached. In this, true liberation is found. Chapter 6. The Power of Self-Mastery. Krishna now turns to a vital aspect of spiritual life, meditation, the practice that unites the mind, heart, and soul with the divine. Krishna speaks, O Arjuna, the yogi is one who performs his duty with devotion, controls his senses, and constantly practices meditation. Meditation is the bridge between selfless action and the eternal bliss of the soul. A yogi sees the Supreme in all beings and all beings in the Supreme. Meditation is not only sitting silently, it is a way of life. To live in mindfulness, to control the senses, to act without attachment, this is true meditation. For the young generation, meditation is a tool to calm a restless mind, focus on purpose, and connect with inner divinity. Krishna continues, "The yogi should sit in a clean, quiet place, with body erect, steadfast, and mind focused. Let the mind dwell on me alone. Thoughts may arise, gently bring them back to the divine. Steadiness in meditation brings peace, clarity, and liberation." Here, Krishna gives a practical guide: posture, environment, focus. But more than form, meditation is devotion. The young can meditate in action as well, performing duties with awareness, studying with focus, speaking with truth. Every act, when infused with mindfulness, becomes meditation. Krishna explains balance in life. Yoga is not abandonment of the world, nor indulgence in it. It is a balance. Eat, sleep, work, and relax moderately. In moderation lies harmony. Excess disturbs the body, mind, and soul. Moderation brings steadiness and strength. In today's fast-paced life, young people often face imbalance. Too much work, too much distraction, too much indulgence. Krishna teaches moderation. Control your habits, regulate your routine, and maintain focus. This is the yogi's way. Krishna speaks of equality and vision. The yogi regards friends, enemies, and strangers alike. He sees pleasure and pain as temporary and remains balanced in success and failure. He offers all actions to me, remains unattached, and is free from pride. Equality of vision is meditation of the heart. The yogi's mind does not oscillate with external circumstances. The young listener learns, cultivate patience, compassion, and equanimity. Treat all beings with respect, and your mind becomes steady and serene. Krishna further explains, even if a yogi does not practice austerity but controls the mind and senses, he is dear to me. Even a yogi who acts in the world, offering all work to me, remains spiritually elevated. Meditation is the awareness of the soul, the devotion of the heart, and the steadiness of the mind. True meditation is not escapism. It is engagement with life in harmony with the divine. A student, a professional, a parent, anyone can be a yogi if they act with mindfulness, devotion, and calmness. Meditation is the inner anchor, the power that steadies the soul amidst chaos. Krishna concludes chapter 6 with encouragement. One who practices meditation with faith, detachment, and devotion, O Arjuna, transcends the modes of nature. He is free, peaceful, and ever united with me. Rise, dedicate your mind to meditation, act with devotion, and you will attain bliss eternal. Chapter 6 teaches the sacred path of meditation, the unity of mind, heart, and soul. Meditation brings self-mastery, calmness, and divine connection. For the young generation, it is a guide to focus, strength, and inner peace. Key lesson: meditate, act mindfully, offer your life to God, and remain balanced. In this, the yogi finds freedom, joy, and eternal bliss. Chapter 7: The Devotion of the Heart. Krishna now speaks of the ultimate knowledge, the knowledge of the Supreme, the eternal truth that sustains the universe and illuminates the soul. Krishna begins, O Arjuna, know me as the ultimate reality, the source of all beings, the support of the cosmos. I am the eternal, the unborn, the prime cause of creation. All wisdom and knowledge originate from me. One who understands me in truth is the knower of all. Chapter 7 is a revelation of divine knowledge. Krishna teaches that the Supreme is both immanent and transcendent, present in every atom, yet beyond all. This knowledge is the bridge between intellect and devotion. Krishna explains, "Among thousands of beings, only a few seek me. Among those who seek, only a few know me truly. I am the goal, the sustainer, and the refuge. One who surrenders to me with faith attains the highest wisdom and liberation." The young are often drawn to fleeting attractions, material success, and temporary pleasures. Krishna reminds us, only a few seek the eternal. True knowledge is not accumulation of facts, but realization of the divine in oneself and all beings. Krishna describes his manifestations. "I am the taste in water, the light in the sun and moon, the syllable Om in all speech, the sound in ether, and the ability in man. I am the beginning, middle, and end of creation. I am the strength in the strong, the intelligence in the intelligent, and the splendor of the splendid." Every element of life, every talent, every ability is an expression of Krishna. Recognizing this transforms ordinary perception into reverence. To see the divine in all things is wisdom. Krishna continues, "Those who worship other gods with faith, they worship me, for all paths ultimately lead to me. But those who understand my true nature, who see the unity behind diversity, they are the wisest. They know me as the eternal reality, beyond the modes of nature, beyond birth and death." Chapter 7 is also a call to devotion. Knowledge alone is not enough. Wisdom without surrender leaves the soul empty. Krishna teaches that understanding his divine presence in everything leads to devotion, humility, and love. Krishna highlights faith and devotion. "Arjuna, by devotion, even the ignorant become wise. By surrender, even the sinful are purified. Faith and devotion are the ladder to spiritual knowledge. Seek me with your heart and all doubts vanish." Faith is not blind belief. It is the recognition of the eternal presence, the connection to the divine in action, thought, and word. For the young, this means developing reverence, discipline, and love for truth. Krishna concludes chapter 7 with reassurance. "Whatever you do, offer it to me. Remember me in every action, every thought, every word. I am the goal, the refuge, and the friend of all who seek me. Those who know me with devotion, O Arjuna, are the highest of all." Chapter 7 teaches the integration of knowledge and devotion, the wisdom to see the Supreme in all things, and the faith to surrender to that Supreme. The young listener learns, knowledge alone is incomplete, devotion alone is incomplete. Together, they illuminate the soul and reveal eternal truth. Key lesson: know the divine in all, worship with faith, and surrender your heart to Krishna. In this lies wisdom, peace, and eternal bliss. Chapter 8: The Supreme Surrender. Arjuna, now filled with curiosity, asks Krishna about the ultimate nature of life and death. "O Krishna, what happens at the time of death? How does one attain liberation? What is the path to the imperishable Absolute?" Krishna, the eternal guide, answers with clarity and compassion. Krishna speaks, "O Arjuna, those who remember me at the time of death with unwavering devotion merge into me, the eternal, imperishable Brahman. Death is not the end, but a transition. The soul, being immortal, moves on according to the karma and consciousness cultivated in life. Chapter 8 teaches the profound secret of consciousness and death. The mind, filled with devotion and remembrance of God, determines the soul's journey. For the young listener, this is a call to live mindfully, to cultivate faith, and to align every thought, word, and action with the divine. Krishna explains the eternal and the transient. The physical body is temporary, the soul is eternal. Those who act without attachment, who meditate on me, and who control the mind, attain liberation. Those who die remembering worldly desires remain bound to the cycle of birth and death. This is a powerful teaching. Life is preparation for eternity. Every choice, every thought, every action shapes the consciousness at the final moment. Young minds must learn the value of devotion, clarity, and purpose, for these guide the soul beyond mortality. Krishna introduces the imperishable Brahma. I am the imperishable, the eternal, beyond birth, beyond decay, beyond all forms. Those who meditate on me, even amidst the distractions of the world, attains me. This is the supreme yoga, the path of remembrance and devotion. Imagine living every day with this awareness. Every challenge, every joy, every act offered to Krishna. Death then becomes not an end, but a doorway to eternal union with the divine. Meditation, devotion, and right action prepare the mind for this sacred moment. Krishna explains the importance of detachment and remembrance. One who departs from the body with mind fixed on me, detached from worldly pleasures, attains the eternal state. Even amidst worldly life, cultivate meditation, devotion, and control of the senses. This leads to the imperishable, eternal Brahma. The young can learn a profound truth. Life is not merely living, it is cultivating consciousness. Each day of mindful action, selfless service, and devotion strengthens the soul and prepares it for the ultimate journey. Krishna concludes chapter 8 with guidance on devotion. Perform duties, O Arjuna, with devotion and faith. Meditate on me constantly. Remember me in life and at the final moment. I shall lift you beyond sorrow, fear, and death into eternal bliss. This is the promise of the imperishable Absolute. Chapter 8 teaches the path to the imperishable Absolute, the immortal soul, devotion at the moment of death, and the power of consciousness. For the young listener, it is a call to live with awareness, to remember God, and to act with detachment and love. Key lesson: remember Krishna constantly, live with devotion, and prepare the mind for eternal union. Life becomes sacred and death becomes liberation. Chapter 9: The Ultimate Reality and Devotion. Krishna now reveals the most precious secret, the union of knowledge and devotion, the royal wisdom of the soul, and the supreme path to liberation. Krishna speaks, O Arjuna, this knowledge is the king of sciences, the most profound, the supreme secret. By understanding this, one attains liberation and all blessings. Few understand it, yet those who do find eternal peace and joy. Chapter 9 unveils the most intimate truth. God is present in all, yet transcendent beyond all. Devotion and faith open the door to this secret. It is called royal knowledge because it grants supreme understanding and freedom. Krishna continues, I am the origin, the sustainer, and the end of all creation. Whatever exists, whether great or small, in heaven or on earth, originates from me and ultimately returns to me. Those who recognize this and worship me with love attain eternal union with the divine. The young often seek shortcuts to success or happiness, looking outward for fulfillment. Krishna reminds us the ultimate secret lies within. Through faith, devotion, and recognition of God in all things. True power is spiritual, not material. Krishna emphasizes faith and devotion. Those who dedicate their lives to me, offering all actions, wealth, and devotion, I protect them, remove all fears, and bless them with peace. The one who surrenders fully is never lost. I am near, ever compassionate, and ever accessible to the devoted. This is a call to live with love and surrender. Devotion is not ritual alone, it is the offering of the heart, mind, and life to the divine. Service, honesty, humility, and love become forms of worship. Krishna explains universality. Whatever sacrifice, offering, austerity, or charity is performed, know that it reaches me if done with devotion. I never reject the sincere devotee, no matter their form or approach. All paths guided by faith reach me. Chapter 9 teaches inclusivity, compassion, and love. The young learn that God does not demand perfection. He values sincerity, effort, and devotion. Every small act of kindness, service, and worship offered with love becomes sacred. Krishna concludes with reassurance. Arjuna, worship me with unwavering devotion. Think of me constantly. Through this, all sins are removed, all obstacles vanish, and eternal bliss is attained. I am the friend of the devotee, the savior of the surrendering soul, and the ultimate refuge for all beings. Chapter 9 reveals the heart of the Gita, the supreme secret of God, accessible through devotion, surrender, and love. Knowledge alone is not enough. Faith and devotion awaken the soul. The young listener is reminded, live with devotion, act with love, and trust in Krishna's grace. Key lesson: surrender fully, act with devotion, and recognize God's presence in all. In this lies the royal knowledge, the ultimate secret, and eternal peace. Chapter 10 The Divine Glories. Krishna now reveals his divine manifestations, the glorious signs of his presence in the world, inspiring awe, devotion, and courage. Krishna speaks, O Arjuna, I am the source of all creation. I am the strength of the strong, the wisdom of the wise, the splendor of the splendid. All greatness, beauty, power, and courage in the world are but a reflection of my divine glory. Chapter 10 celebrates the omnipresence of God. Krishna teaches that divinity is not distant. It is manifest in every talent, skill, and virtue. The young can see this in their own lives. The courage to face challenges, the intelligence to solve problems, the love to care for others, all are expressions of Krishna. Krishna continues, I am the fragrance in the earth, the brilliance of fire, the life of all beings, the syllable Om. I am the goal of all spiritual paths, the eternal friend of the devotee. Know that all great souls, all virtuous deeds, all extraordinary feats are my manifestations. This chapter inspires self-confidence, devotion, and awe. Recognize the divine in yourself and in others. Every act of courage, kindness, and creativity is a reflection of Krishna's power. Young listeners are encouraged, honor your talents, use them selflessly, and see the divine everywhere. Krishna explains his glories in human life. Among the sages, I am the sage Vyas. Among the kings, I am the king of kings, Bharat. Among warriors, I am Arjuna. Among words, I am the divine sound. Among sacrifices, I am the sacrifice of knowledge. Among sciences, I am the science of the self. Krishna highlights that the extraordinary qualities we admire in heroes, leaders, and sages are manifestations of the divine. By recognizing this, young listeners learn humility, reverence, and inspiration. They are reminded that they too carry the spark of divinity within. Krishna emphasizes devotion and surrender. Those who meditate on my glories with faith, devotion, and love attain peace, strength, and spiritual elevation. Worship me, remember me, offer all actions to me. By this, the soul awakens to its highest potential. Chapter 10 teaches that divine vision transforms perception. Ordinary life becomes sacred when we see God in all things, in all people, and in ourselves. Devotion awakens the soul to its own divine potential. Krishna concludes chapter 10 with encouragement. Arjuna, know that I am the essence of all greatness, the origin of all glories, and the eternal source of courage and wisdom. Those who recognize my manifestations, who worship me with love, become my devotees, fearless and devoted. They achieve perfection, fulfillment, and eternal bliss. Chapter 10 inspires awe, devotion, and courage. By recognizing Krishna's divine glories in all creation and in themselves, young listeners learn humility, reverence, and purpose. Every talent, achievement, and virtue is an opportunity to see the divine and offer gratitude. Key lesson: recognize God in all things, celebrate the divine glories in life, and act with devotion. In this vision, life becomes sacred and the soul awakens to its highest potential. Thank you for listening. Gita's message for today's Arjuna, a divine motivation, narrated and published by SweetAudible.